And away we go. It is the aftermath. Right here on BearcatJournal.com. Kansas 54, Cincinnati, the lowest point output in the history of Fifth Third Arena. The only time that they've scored, the last time they've scored less or this number was 1993. So 31 years. Oof. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Mio's Pizza. Hopefully you listened, went to Mio's before the game, and had a lot of Cincy Light because you probably needed it. Make sure you stop by whenever you're in Clifton, in and around campus. Get up to Mio's, have some lunch, have some dinner. Great pizza. They have delicious steak hoagies. Love the wedge fries. Love the appetizers. And a fully stocked bar that will get you taken care of the next time you're going to watch a Bearcats game. Hi, Aaron.
Yo.
How you doing, buddy?
I have no expectations anymore for this season. I told you that 2 games ago, so I'm good.
I mean, it's kind of it's funny because the offense was pretty bad the entire game, right? But if they don't completely fall apart in the final 7-8 minutes of the game, we're maybe talking about the toughness, the grit. They were able to grind one out. But instead, and one of the more crazy things I've ever seen, you get a missed dunk from Arrington Page with 5 minutes and 45 seconds left. Cincinnati down 3. 42-37. Or 40-37, sorry. Would have made it 40-39. 1 point game. 5.5 minutes left. Like game on. For all the warts and all the flaws and whatever you wanted to say, like there was a shot for Cincinnati to win a game that offensively they still are not playing well. And then Page misses the dunk, and 12-3 Kansas to close out the game, and the 3 was a 3-pointer by Josh Reed with 1 minute and 21 seconds left that made it 52-40. Everybody's mad. I get it. But here we are.
Yeah, after that missed dunk, the team just completely after that game, the team completely crashed out. They just spiraled in the worst way. 3 straight possessions by Arrington Page that resulted in no points on the other end of the floor. But kudos to him for not being afraid to take an open shot. He made one of them, one of the 3 threes today. So,
and that one was like off balance, throwing it up at the rim.
He made one of them. Three threes today total of 22. That's fun. 13.6%. Gross. 6 of 15 layups. What?
Yeah, can't make a layup, can't make a 3. Like
What are you gonna do?
There ain't a whole lot you can do in that situation.
40 points is the lowest total by a Bearcat team since 1993. I was 9 years old when that last happened. I don't have words for today. I know a lot of people have been dogging on Wes Miller for even Lance McAllister piling on, saying that it was a weird press conference. I don't have a problem with what Wes. What the hell are you supposed to say after that happens? I don't know what the hell, and still instill some type of support, or without. What are you going to do? Just burn everybody? Like, I don't know what else you're supposed to say other than we have confidence the lid's going to come off at some point, or are you just going to say, well, the season's over. We're done. We tried. I don't know what else you're supposed to say. So much like you view the Bengals as a comedy, I think that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy. It's a great tragedy because we all had high expectations, lofty expectations for this team. Right now, I don't know. I told you I don't know if they win 3 games this month.
Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Because sorry, I'm filibustering while you're typing here still. But I mean,
Yeah,
right now you're looking at Colorado. Don't feel good about any of these. At Colorado, home versus Arizona State, home versus Texas Tech, at BYU, at Utah, and that's the rest of your month. And now, granted, this is by paper an easier schedule than what you've already faced in the Big 12, but I don't know that if you can't make open shots, wide open shots,
yeah,
dunks, layups, I don't know how you beat anybody.
Right.
In the entire country, not just this conference, the whole country.
I'm taking a lot of heat for my stance on Twitter, which is it doesn't matter. Like, look, Kansas is the number 4 defense in the country. Okay. Free throws. Yeah. 1 of 2. Kansas is the number 4 defense in the country. You're not gonna just get easy shots, all the shots you want, all the good that's not how it works. So you have to make shots. You have to, when you get those opportunities, when you get open looks, when you get drives to the rim, when you have a segment where you're running good offense and you're giving yourself situations to be able to score, and you don't score, how do you put the blame on anybody but the guys that aren't getting the job done? And the job is putting the ball in the basket. Like, okay, it's Wes is the head coach, it's his responsibility. Agreed. But if that was all we said, we wouldn't have a whole lot of content.
Look, I didn't feel good about anything with this game when I found out that Zach Taylor was in attendance. I knew that was a horrible omen, horrid omen.
Joe, of course he's responsible. When have we once said he's not responsible for the team? What happens on the floor? Sure, but these players are also making a lot of money now. They are professional athletes. They are professional athletes being paid the same as Wes is being paid to coach. These guys are being paid to play. So I'm going to talk about when they fail to do the thing that they are being paid to do.
I don't agree with this statement, but this is one of the funniest things I've seen in the chat in a very long time. For those listening, I'm beginning to think this shot doctor we got might be Dr. Kevorkian. It's hysterical. Well done.
It is funny. It is also a situation where it's a guy that has done this at a very high level for a long time. For whatever reason, here, right now, in the moment, it's going bad. Guys, they're not, and this is, I guess, like the thing that you would put on the coaching staff, but I don't know. Like, you have to be able to instill confidence in your players. You have to get them at a point where they're performing confidently in their abilities. But there's only so much you can do when you're putting them in position and the job's not getting done. Like, your confidence isn't going to rise just because your coach, said play with confidence. You have to go out there and make shots. And like Jizzle was out there. I got there 2 hours before the game today. He was out there working. Nobody else was out there. He was the first one out there going through drills, trying to get back whatever it is that he has been, missing. Like, but it doesn't matter if on game day you don't go out there and perform. And you're at that point where you're in like one of those like 3-week baseball droughts, right? Where the back of the baseball card says the guy is better. And he's working with the hitting coaches and he's watching the film and he's doing all the things he needs to do. But then he gets up to the plate. Well, like Seamas today. Seamas had 2 threes that were literally in and out. Just rattled down, and instead of going in, they come out. If they go in, maybe that confidence rises and you see a guy start to get back to being himself. But instead, they rim out, and now the guy starts pressing and the guy starts trying to do things that really aren't necessarily like what his strengths are. Maybe step back and shoot a 24-footer instead of a 21-footer. West did make a bunch of adjustments today. He sat Tyler Betsy. He sat Connor Hickman.
Well, and look at what they did at the beginning of the game, where they were everything we've been talking about. They were finally aggressive. Seamas is going to the hole, and Dylan played. The first half was probably the most skilled we've seen Dylan play. He made a jumper. He was playing with his back to the rim and driving around guys. He played very aggressively, and Kansas made adjustments. And that was, I guess, I think that's the most frustrating thing that I'm seeing. And I know that the way that we break down games is very, very different. But I feel like everyone is always making better adjustments to our adjustments. The chess game, after the first move, it just feels like it's always the other team making a better counter move.
Right now, sure. You know why it feels that? Because they're shooting like 31% from the floor and 12% from 3. So it doesn't matter what adjustments you make. If you're not putting the ball in the basket, if you're not completing the transaction, then it looks like nothing you did worked. I mean, they held Kansas pretty well in check. Kansas scored 24 points in the first half, 30 points in the second half. If you told me they held Kansas to 54 points, I'd have felt pretty damn good about today, Aaron. I'd have felt pretty damn good about today.
I agree.
So, effort, energy, they were even on the glass. They out-rebounded them on the offensive glass by 2, I think. Kansas ended up winning the rebounding battle by 2. I didn't think it was effort. I thought, you got a good deal from Josh. You got a good deal from CJ Frederick in their roles that they were expected to perform. CJ didn't hit a shot, but he did make a couple of good passes offensively. He did make a couple actions. He kind of took it upon himself to make a couple actions work with his cutting, especially the one he had on the baseline. He had a steal. And then don't look now, but while he didn't make a change in the starting lineup, Jizzle played 20 minutes. Day played 26. And when they were on the floor together, Day was the point guard. So they were on the floor for 6. So Jizzle played essentially 15 minutes of point guard tonight. No, he played like 6 minutes at the 2, 15 minutes at the 1, and Day played 26 minutes as the point guard. The problem was Day went 1 for 8?
1 of 8. Well, because he was doing circus shots
from 3.
He was doing circus shots under the rim.
You're gonna have to make tough shots against Kansas.
I understand.
That's why they're number 4 in defensive efficiency, is because they pack the paint, they make you shoot over them. You have to make those shots. Yeah. The other thing that's driving me a little nuts about Jizzle is he's not playing in attack mode. I almost want to take the ball screen away from him, because he gets in the ball screen. As soon as he comes off the screen, he either goes immediately back or he goes sideways. He's never playing aggressively. At least Day, it might end up in a circus shot at the rim, but he's going downhill. He's making your
Yep.
defense react. He's making your defense collapse. All Jizzle is doing is allowing the defense to reload because he's not being aggressive. He's not playing with that type of offensive energy that you need from a point guard. When's the last time you remember him splitting the ball screen and going downhill right in between them? Because they're high hedging. They're trying to push him out. There is a gap.
I don't know when the last time was he took a layup that was not a fast break.
I was talking about that earlier with Keegan and JT and the boys waiting for Wes to come in for the post game.
I can't recall a layup that Jizzle has taken that came off a screen or wasn't a fast break. Everything that he takes at the rim in paint is off fast break.
Yeah. The overhit on how many times the broadcasters mentioned he was Edge's son. Yeah, I thought CJ Frederick did a good job defensively, keeping his guy in front of him. I thought they scrambled and recovered well. The only thing I didn't like on defense, Dan got hit by a million. He ran right into the heart of a million screens. Screens that he's either supposed to be going under or over. He looked like a baby deer coming off every one of those screens.
It felt like at one point his head actually got stuck in Hunter Dickinson's sternum.
It did.
He didn't.
For an easy basket.
He didn't. Yes, he didn't move.
He got hit and just stuck there.
Yep.
He looked like one of those like you wear Velcro and you jump on the wall and you just stick there because the Velcro's stuck. Yeah, yep. I called that one out loudly to Keegan. Like you gotta either get over it or get under it. You don't run right into the middle of the guy's chest when you know the screen is coming. But other than that, I thought defensively they were really, really sound today.
Yeah. And I know, like, even Aziz getting killed today on social media, but what did you want him to do? He held, look, Hunter Dickinson, granted, he got his 14 and 12.
Well, yeah.
But he looked uncomfortable all day. They went to him early and often. And 7 of 16. You talk about a guy being a compiler. Yeah, he got his double-double because he took 16 shots.
To get 14 points.
To get 14. That's a great day at the office for Aziz Bandego.
Kansas didn't have a single player shoot better than 50%. 4 of 9, 7 of 16, 2 of 7, 4 of 10, 3 of 9, 1 of 5, 1 of 4, 1 of 5, 1 of 3.
They didn't have a good day either. They shot 9.5% from 3. They shot 35% from the floor. They played uncomfortable all day. They were frustrated. We didn't see a single foul by Cincinnati until 48 seconds, I think it was, left in the first half, which was the weirdest first half I think I've ever seen. 3 total fouls, I believe, in the first half. And then
Cincinnati's first foul was with like 44 seconds left in the half.
That's what I'm saying. And then in the second half, it was a whole different game as far as refereeing went. They were like, "Oh, I guess we have to earn our paycheck."
No, I mean there were only 9 fouls total in the second half. They let it be a bloodbath.
It was just very strange.
Yeah. It's it's frustrating because like I was at practice Thursday. Like you see them working on it. You see them putting in good effort, trying to like get out of this, whatever it is that they're in. And when the lights go on, it's just not being, the play is not being completed. Like, I did think there were too many times today where they got to 7 or 8 on the shot clock and somebody had to go make something happen. I do give credit to a decent amount of that is Kansas is really good defensively. Like you're going to run into this when you play Houston, when you play Iowa State, when you play Kansas. You're going to run into teams that are just going to be good at taking you out of the rhythm of what you want to do. The only way to beat that is when you have open shots, you have to make them. And this team is just not anywhere close to that right now. I mean, they had what, 4 threes rim out. They airballed a couple layups. They missed a couple right in close. Just the ability to complete the play right now is just completely lost on this team. Completely lost.
I don't, again, going back to Wes's post-game presser, what else is he supposed to say?
Yeah. Right? Andrew, I get this to an like I get why people are complaining about it. I don't think they do it a ton. I do think there are times like the defense is set. So where are you running it up to? If they've got all 5 guys back in position to defend you, where are you running the ball to? Just you're running it up to the top of the key to get there 3 seconds faster? And, you know, the other part is that you would hope there's a little bit more effort to run on a day when Kansas missed as many shots as they did. But Kansas really doesn't overly attack the offensive glass. They just count on Dickinson and KJ Adams to be quicker to the ball than you are. I'm worried Seamoss could mirror Vic's season last year. Vic got sick and never really got back to healthy. I always ask the tough post-game questions, Marcus. That's tough question, Chad Brendel. That's what I do. But yeah, it's frustrating because it feels like they should have better talent offensively than what they are showing right now. And whether it's
no one's creating shots. No one's creating shots right now for themselves. You see plenty of screens, but outside of that, no one's doing anything.
Well, but they're not playing off of the screens. They're not utilizing the screens the way that they should be utilized, or they're slipping early, or
right. There's so much of that. So much of the slipping early. So I don't know.
And, here's the thing, Aaron. That's supposed to be a counter, right? That's supposed to be after you're rocking people with good screens, and they're like kind of timid about running into the screen, and all of a sudden the guy slips, dunk, because you have instilled some fear in them with your screen setting. That is that's not happening. Like nobody's getting hit really with a screen. Like
at all.
Yeah. I've yet to see one guy that slips a pass and gets a score from it. Yeah, there's not been many. It's happened about as many times as Jizzle has split the high hedge and gotten to the rim.
Yeah, set the damn screen properly. Just that should be a whole day of practice where they just finish screens. A whole day. Because I don't know that anyone's finishing screens right now. Without slipping.
The problem is your best screener is Seamoss, and you need him coming off the screens, not being the guy. I mean, there is some value in screening the screener and some of that stuff, but like if you really pay attention to it, Seamoss sets the most consistent screens, I think, in terms of making sure he gets, and he's a little wider than everybody else, but making sure he at least gets a piece and doesn't let you just blow by him like he was a traffic cone.
Right now, I'd be okay if
folding chair.
I'd be okay if he was the one setting screens instead of shooting currently.
He's not shooting all that much, Aaron. People were yelling 2 days ago. Got to get Seamoss more than 6 shots. Can't have Seamoss only take 6 shots.
I was leading the charge. Now I'm okay with him setting.
Because he took 11.
Now I'm okay with him setting screens.
I don't think they're taking a lot of quick threes, Durkins. The ones that they have, we've talked about. I don't think they're taking a lot of early shot clock threes unless they're like rhythm, pass, guy catches wide open. take the three, and I want them to take those. Like,
I don't think there's
as long as you run your offense and you get a clean look, take the three.
There's no
but
rhythm,
unless it's from
period.
27 feet. Yeah, there's no stress on the defense to have to guard anybody. Like the second half today, Kansas said, we're going to take away Dan. Good luck.
Well,
and what happened? They scored 15 points.
When you go 13.6 from 3 and you go 6 of 15, so that'd be what? 40% from layups. Yeah, you don't have to guard anyone.
30% on layups, 10% on threes. Like, that's not hard
40.
to guard.
40% from layups.
Still not good. Should be like 70% on layups. Joe, Lance, I like Lance a lot. Lance is not where I would go for my UC takes. Just saying.
He's also
what do you want?
Shock jock.
Percentages not seen since Chad's sophomore year at Marshall. I mean, white chocolate was at Marshall when I was there. Like,
no lies told.
Bearcat man. They were pretty good back then. Everyone's just cold right now outside of Dan. Not much you can do at the moment. Yeah, I mean that's the hard part, Top G. Like, is it on the coaching staff? Absolutely. Like, but like I said, if our answer to all of this is okay, fire everybody, we don't have a whole lot else to talk about. So we have to break down and dig into what's actually happening, why it's happening, what needs to be done to fix it. And sometimes it's just as simple as if they don't start making shots, if the guys that are at the top of this roster don't start making shots, these next 16 games are going to be painfully witnessed and talked about. Because there'll be a few wins here and there, but you can't be this bad and expect to win on defense and rebounding. You just can't.
It's almost as if there's a viral outbreak on this team of not being able to shoot, and it has become so contagious that everyone caught it.
It's like
Arlington Page caught it, and he didn't even know it until he tried to dunk and took a heat check 3.
Why not just a little, like he tried to
just two hands, yeah. And you got 2.
And it's a 1-point game with 6 minutes left.
You know what fans like to see when a big man dunks? They like to see 2 hands, knees raised up, Shaq style, and he's capable of that without looking stupid. 2 hands, big fella.
Cincinnatius. Shout out Josh Reed. Yeah, Josh played his role very effectively today, which is not what you've been getting from Tyler Betsy. So kudos to Josh. Again, Josh last year took advantage of an opportunity. They put him in. He took advantage of it. He earned more minutes. So we'll see if tonight was part of an impetus, or today was part of an impetus toward that, to get him on the floor a little bit more. I mean, at least look, Aaron, with Josh, he's going to set good screens. He's going to rebound. He's not going to give you much offense, but he's going to defend. At least he's going to do the things that you ask him to do.
The block he had was the best play he had the entire game. I loved that from him. Outside of that, I think CJ Frederick actually gave better minutes than Josh. And that's not a knock on Josh. That's just the effort minutes that CJ put in today. I was impressed with.
I think they're about even. I mean, Pluto, just trust me when I say this. Right now, Ray is not the answer. Ray is not going to give you offense. And this team needs offense. Could he come in and give you a little bit of help, defense and rebounding and maybe some of that stuff? Maybe, yeah. But he's not going to come in and give you a boost on the offensive end. And that's where this thing is going horribly wrong right now. So putting him out there, all that's going to result in is 3 days later saying you should fire Wes because he played Ray for 8 minutes.
Right now is not where you experiment with a guy who didn't flash during non-con.
Right. And that's a good point of the here, D. Smith. Kansas, lowest point total of the season. That was actually in the entire Bill Self era, the fewest number of points they've scored in a win since Bill Self has been the coach at Kansas.
Well, I don't love that stat.
Right. Kansas's lowest point total of the season. Arizona's third lowest. Baylor's fourth lowest. They can improve like 8% shooting. They start winning. Like it's yeah.
Good job, Doug. I knew you weren't giving up on the Bearcats even after your Twitter. I give up.
Pluto, you can trust me on it or you cannot trust me on it. I'm telling you, Ray is not going to improve this team's offense. Can Sean Abayev enroll in the second semester? Please. Well, early enrollee. Here's the ball, kid. Good luck. Go get some buckets.
At that point, that's.
I know. I guess we'll do the thing we always do and go player by player. Dan, 9 points, 4 of 7 from the floor, hit a 3, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Was good in the first half. Could have been a big factor in the second half. I thought Kansas did a good job kind of scheming him out of where Cincinnati was getting him the ball. And then when that happens, other guys have to make them pay. And nobody did. So I'm actually going to pay attention to my family in fall and winter. No, you're not. Come on. No, you're not, D. Smith. You're going to be right here with us talking about the misery.
Football starts off 3-0, 4-1. Reel them right back in.
You don't like your family that much, brother. Come on. Dan did what he could in the first half. Second half, Kansas did a good job of taking him away. Was his only bucket in the second half that steal and dunk, or was that in the first half? That was the first half.
Second half box, he had 2 points, 1 of 2.
We are your family. I appreciate that, D. Smith. I appreciate that. We're a dysfunctional family right now. Everybody's mad at me. I'm mad. Tweeted Chad is in full effect tonight. But
it's cousin Doug Smith.
Good old cousin Doug.
Dylan Mitchell, 10 points, 5 of 8, 0 for 2 from 3. I did like his looks though from 3. They just didn't fall. 5 defensive rebounds. That was the only ones he had today. 1 turnover, 1 block, 1 steal in his 29 minutes. High energy first half. I feel like his energy fell off the second half. I don't know if that was KJ Adams or KJ Adams looked frustrated most of the first half. Especially with like the blocks and different things that were happening because they didn't call fouls.
At all, ever, against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
All right. 9 points, Arrington Page. You are number 3 that we'll talk about today. 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. 3 offensive, 4 defensive, giving him 7 on the day for rebounds. A turnover, 2 blocks in his 14 minutes. He was efficient. I feel like we saw 2 different Arrington Pages out there today. He was both Jekyll and Hyde today.
I don't know if it was Jack. I mean, he was at least trying. I know there's frustration with him because he missed the dunk and it kind of started the ball rolling downhill in a very rapid direction. But, I mean, in a game where they scored 40 points, he scored 9 of them.
He did have almost 25%.
I don't have an issue with Arrington Page today.
Josh Reed, we'll talk about you next. 5 points, 2 of 4. Josh Reed had an eighth of the scoring. That's insane. 2 of 4, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 offensive rebound. That was his only rebound. 1 assist, a turnover, a block, a steal. 15 minutes.
Gave a good 15 minutes. I mean, look, if Tyler Betsy would have done those things, then Tyler Betsy wouldn't be out of the rotation, right?
He has done nothing defensively.
Tyler Betsy.
Not correct. No, not rebounds, not a. I don't feel like I don't recall a deflected pass. Just that's not to say it didn't happen. It's just that there's nothing that happens any type of regular with him in that regard.
You guys are getting the zingers in today. Pretty good. Matt says, I told my wife this morning, if we can get 14 points from AP and Reed, we can definitely lose this game by only 14. This is why you guys come here for therapy. We laugh, we cry, we get it all out. It's a group session.
Jizzle, 3 points, 1 of 6 from the field. Missed his only 3. Had the only 2 free throws of the entire day for the Bearcats. 1 of 2. Thanks, Doug Sermons, you crazy bastard. 3 defensive rebounds, an assist, 20 minutes played.
I mean, look, you can again blame whoever you want, do whatever you want. But I said it 4 games ago, I said it 3 games ago, I said it 2 games ago, and I'll say it again today. If Jizzle and Seamas are bad, this team doesn't stand a chance to win. Like, if you want to blame Wes for that roster construction, great. Whatever, cool. More power to you. But I think everybody was pretty fucking excited about Jizzle and Seamas coming into this season after what they did last year. It is on them to start playing better, to start scoring more. How different does this game look, even if Seamas has 13 and Jizzle has 11? Like, that part of it is the part that doesn't make any sense to me, because they're good players. I've seen them be good players. Seamas has been a good player for 3.5 years in college, and he's playing really poorly right now. Jizzle, I don't know if it, like I said the other day, if it is just going to the top of the scouting report and his game maybe wasn't ready for that yet. Like, maybe you tried to skip a step in his development. But either way, like, he's been at the top of the scouting report for 15 games now. Like, he's got to start adjusting to that. He has to start understanding this team needs me to be good. Figure out a way to be good.
Last season, he averaged 17, 18 minutes a game. He was still at the top of he was one of 2 point guards.
No, he wasn't at the top of the scouting report, I'm telling you. I'm talking about, like, when you open the scouting report, the first page of the scouting report, Jizzle James was not on it last year. Probably wasn't even on the second page of the scouting report last year.
Well, then they're using too big. 16, they're using too big of. They're using too big of a font then.
But my point being, he is up there with Seamas at the top of the scouting report right now. And teams, if you watch him play the pick and roll the way he's playing the pick and roll right now, I don't know how he got what he earned today. He got a lot less minutes with the ball in his hand because he's not executing the entry point of the offense with any precision. He just backs up. He gets to the ball screen, they hedge, and he immediately takes 2 steps back, and everything just stagnates from there.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Seamoss, 2 points, 1 of 10 from the field. Maybe his worst shooting day. 0 for 6 from 3, 3 defensive rebounds, 3 assists, a foul, a turnover, 27 minutes.
Not good. Him and Jizzle, it's not good enough. Again, blame Wes all you want. Scream, fire him until you're hoarse. Like until your Twitter fingers get carpal tunnel. But none of it matters until two of your two top of the roster guys get out of whatever it is that they're in. Because they're just not producing. They're not doing essentially anything to help this team on offense. And then you wonder why the team's not good on offense. It's right there in front of you. It's those two guys.
Yeah, 5 points, 2 of 16. That's insane. 0 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
Insane.
And you were still, it was a 1-point game with 6 minutes left against Kansas.
Speaking of insane, Day Thomas, 2 points, 1 of 8 from the field, 0 for 3 from the arc. 1 offensive, 2 defensive, giving him 3 rebounds for the day, 2 assists, a foul, 2 turnovers, 26 minutes played, 6 minutes more than Jizzle.
Yeah. I mean,
he gives you more energy right now. I'm good with it. I don't care who's starting. I truly don't care. Could not care less. Day should be getting more minutes currently until we see reason to give Jizzle more minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. You got to earn that. You got to, you got to show that you're the top of the roster guy. Because right now you're not.
And if he continues to shoot like this, I don't see a reason why Day wouldn't be the starter at some point. Then you got Aziz 0 for 3, 4 offensive, 4 defensive, 8 rebounds on the day, leading all Bearcats, 3 fouls, which I feel like that hurt us, truthfully, because that gave Page the minutes where he had the 3 missed shots in a row and kind of where we spiraled out. But 2 turnovers and a steal in his 24 minutes. And wrapping it up, CJ Frederick 0 for 4, 0 for 2 from the arc, 4 defensive rebounds, his only rebounds, 1 steal, 16 minutes played. Worth mentioning, I suppose, the bench of CJ Frederick, Josh Reed, and Arlington Page were +2, 0, and +3. The only players not negative on this team in plus-minus.
Dan -9, Jizzle -13, Dylan -15, Seamoss and Aziz -16, and Day -6.
Yuck.
Yeah. Well, on to Wednesday.
Sure.
Road game at Colorado. A team that is 81 in KenPom, 126 on offense, and 54 on defense. But they are very difficult to beat at home. I think their only loss at home so far this year is a 10-point loss to Iowa State. They play West Virginia at home tomorrow. There you have it. Bearcats fall 54-50. They are 0-4 in the Big 12. They are 10-5 on the season. It's going to wrap it up. Aaron and I will have a nightcap tomorrow, looking back at the Big 12 this week and the BBP on Monday. We'll see you next time. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Live from the Cincy Light Studios, this is The Aftermath, brought to you by Mio's Pizza, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!